Our speaker is a newly added member of our board of directors, so he's on the board. And some of you remember that for many months we were pushing membership on the Disability Chamber of Commerce. We said that a former speaker was the new president, had created the Disability Chamber of Commerce, both the nationwide one and the Texas one, and that he was trying to get members. Individuals can be members of the Disability Chamber, and companies, organizations. So I'm a member, and Launchpad is a member as well. And it's free, so you just go into the website, which I'm sure Murphy will tell you about, and say that you want to be a member of the chamber, and that just means that you are a supporter of employment and benefits and services to people with disabilities. So what a cool deal is that? Now, he used to work with me at Workforce Solutions, but he now is the Workforce Development Manager with the Housing Authority with the city. He is both the founder and president of the U.S. Disability Chamber and the Disability Chamber of Commerce here locally. And the topic that he's going to talk about is job seeker strategies no one knows about. His cultural competency is built on a lifetime of leadership and international experience. He enlisted in the Navy right out of high school, traveling to Europe, the Middle East, and Central America. His primary upbringing prepared him perfectly for this organization due to the fact that he grew up surrounded by cultures different from his own, something that we should all do. He was encouraged by his parents to identify and value both the commonalities and the differences of the human experience. As a naval supervisor, exposure to diverse peoples was instrumental in shaping his worldview and his values. Since his military retirement, his passion has been to assist people with employment or self-employment while developing the skills necessary to succeed as productive human beings contributing to global innovation. Well, that would be all of you. His workforce development philosophy is centered on servant leadership and the idea that true innovation derives from a diverse workforce now and in the future. Editor's notes. He has two first names, right? He's got Murphy and he's got Roland. So, and what's really hilarious is in LinkedIn, he has one LinkedIn profile where he's Murphy Roland and another LinkedIn profile where he is Roland Murphy, which I think is quite a cool little joke. So the editor's note is, if you call him Roland, that will be just fine. As he spent so many years in the military being called by his last name, he often calls himself the same, so he'll answer with a great smile to either Murphy or Roland. And I will waste no more time. Murphy Roland, Murphy.
So everybody today, you can call me Roland. We're going to go on a brief history about myself. I was in the Navy for 25 years. My mom had Huntington's disease. I was in Naval Special Forces, stationed down in Coronado, San Diego. My mom had Huntington's disease. It's a debilitating disease in which your brain shuts down, and that's a very interesting situation. What happened with that, she passed away, but I had to get orders here back to Austin, Texas, which is where I was born and raised. They said it would ruin my Navy career. There is no Navy really in Austin, Texas, and if you go there, you're done. And I came here, they put me in charge of Navy recruiting, which probably was the best thing that ever happened to me. And the reason I got to see my mom, her last year, she passed away. I got to be with her at all those, last minute things. And it prepared me for exiting the military. Being as a recruiter in charge, I got to go to the workforce, do a lot of recruiting from there, which is where I met Kathy and the team, all right? They coached me, and what happened was, they said, Roland, you're getting out soon. I said, yes. And they said, would you like to come and work for us at the workforce? I've been in the Navy since 17, never had a job in my life, never had to do a resume, a thank you letter, nothing. I knew nothing about the field of work in which you guys are probably professionals. I knew nothing about it. And so from that point on, they hired me at the workforce. Luckily, I had a great team there with Kathy and all her team, a lot of senior people. They taught me everything I needed to know. Went from there, worked for the Texas Veterans Commission as a business developer. Went back to Texas Workforce Commission as a business developer, finding jobs for veterans to come and business to come to Austin, Texas to hire everybody here. I would bring them here to Texas. Went from there, director of a school. Went from there, I came back, now I work at the housing, I work for the governor's office for the Army, and then came back, and then now I'm at the workforce development manager for the Housing Authority, City of Austin. and I run a nonprofit, which is the Disability Chamber, and a for-profit, the United States Disability Chamber, which was just created a couple of weeks ago for people with disabilities. Mind you, when I got out, I didn't have a chance. I didn't even have a degree when I got out. Been in 25 years, didn't even have a degree. Knew right away I had better do something real quick. Went to online school, finished my bachelor's degree in healthcare administration, and I finished my master's degree in public administration. I did that. I got out officially in 2012, so got those degrees two and a half years later. So if anybody thinks they're having a hard time, just look at my story, getting out, right? I knew nothing. I really knew nothing, and I had no skills. I knew how to shoot a gun. But what did that do for me? The reason I say the workforce probably saved my life is when I graduated from the Navy, 5 of my recruiters that I worked for all committed suicide. I'm the only one from that group in Austin, Texas that's alive today. And I owe it to the workforce. And why? Because of the fact that I went into the job market very quickly. I didn't stop and wait and get depressed. I just jumped in, got $30,000 working at the workforce. I was making $140,000 while I was in the Navy with all my benefits. Just took a $30,000. My other Navy recruiter said, we're worth more than that. We're not going to take a $30,000 job. Well, that was a big mistake. The mistake was, now you get out, all you can do is shoot guns, right? You have they waited a whole year. You have a year gap in your resume, and that's when the market was hardest to find jobs in Austin. They couldn't get a job then. I took a $30,000 job, learned a lot of little techniques that I didn't know before, and here I am today. And I had a great team at the workforce that coached me along the way. And so that's why I'm here. I want to get back to Kathy and her team because I think really they probably saved my life in the long run. That's a long way around this, but I just want to give everybody a really good history on myself and why I really want to talk to you guys about this hidden job market thing and to know where I came from and join the Disability Chamber of Commerce. If you think you have a hard time, think about a felon, think about a person with autism that has a felony. Those are people I deal with right now. You tell me if that's not hard to find a job. I better be very creative in what I do, and I am. So please join my chamber if you guys have a chance. So let's get into some really good things here, okay? I want to get this out of the way real quick. Who has a specific job in this room that is very difficult to find employment for, and there's very few companies hiring for this position? Is there anybody, stand up. Is there any, tell me what your position is.
Aquatics management.
Ooh, okay, all right. Now, there are very few companies that hire for this particular position?
Yes.
Okay, anybody else?
Cities.
Okay, tell me, sir, what is it for you?
Land management ranger.
Oh, what now?
Land management ranger.
Whoa, okay, all right. Okay, all right. Is there a lake or something on there? There's some water that we can get. See how good I am? I solved it already. I mean, geez. Anybody else? You ma'am.
Mindfulness, meditation, healing.
There's not very few of those. There's very few of those. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. How many have you interviewed for a position, ma'am?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, you sir, have you interviewed? Okay, you ma'am, have you interviewed for a position? Okay, now, let's just get this out of the way right now. All right? Shh, stays in the room. All right? I'm going to tell you what, if you guys go to some of these jobs and it's very difficult to find, and you've interviewed with somebody, the one question you need to ask before you leave there is, who are our competitors? That's it. Got them. Well, our competitors are this, A, B, C, D, E. Thank you, sir. Go home, call all of them. Got them. Works for me every time. Sometimes I will interview just to get competitors. I don't even care about their job. See how simple that is? Okay? Right? Write them down, give them a call, send them a letter. I tell my clients to call them personally, find out who they are, go to their meetings. And this is another thing a lot of people miss. where I work for the Housing Authority, employer program. If I refer you to a job, I get $500 for referring. How many people have went to companies and just called? You guys have employee referral programs. Yes, I do. Guess what I tell my clients to do? Find someone in that company, strike a deal with them. Who started that? Strike a deal with them, right? I had 2 people do that to me. I said, sure, send me your resume, right? I promoted them all through the company. They work for us right now. I got $500. I gave them $100. We good. We're best friends right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I could retire just off this program alone. I don't really need. You know, my boss is like, well, how did you find all these people? I don't know, boss. They're showing up, right? See how that works? Very simple strategies of that nature, just to use existing systems and subsystems to really, really propel you in your job search. Who's having a difficult time here with anything? Anybody else? Anything going on that I can really address? You, sir. What's your getting interviewed? Ooh, let's talk about the interview. Anybody else having a hard time just breaking the interview world? What have you tried so far? Is there anything specific you tried besides applying online? Is there anything? Right.
Find someone who knows someone.
Right.
That's the only thing that happens.
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about. You're from Austin, sir?
Not originally.
Okay.
I've been here for like 5 years.
Okay. So let's talk about coming into the city. Right. You're new to Austin. You're ready to go. We got this big job market here. A lot of competition in this space. How many people? I'm the president of this Philly Chamber of Commerce. How many people came to the city and called their Chamber of Commerce? Smart man. What did you get from there?
A lot of swag at a networking event.
Okay. That's what they do. That's what they do, right? But guess who else they know? Business owners, employers. Yes, but there's something better than that. They know the Economic Development Corporation. They partner together. The Economic Development Corporation knows all companies coming into the city. Everybody. And they give them incentives to hire everybody. You get this land, you have to give us, you're getting tax breaks and incentives. If you're developers, I went to the chamber orientation meeting. There's 7 companies there. They have over 200 to 300 jobs just coming into Austin, and they'll be here in the next 7 months. And they're striking deals now. But you wouldn't know about that unless you meet the Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Development Corporations in cities. Right? I tell people now, there are different ones in different cities, right? Austin is a major one, which is hard to get into. But remember, the smaller cities, Leander, Bastrop, the ones surrounding Austin, you would be surprised. You can just walk up in the office. Can I talk to the president? Yes. Sit down. What's coming to your city in the next 6 months? If you're coming to Austin, you call them first. I'll be there in 8 months. This is my resume. What companies are coming to Cedar Creek? What companies are coming to Bastrop? Boom. They're going to give you a list. Because they want to present to these companies. They want to let them know, we have 200 Jolly developers available for you if you come to Bastrop, Cedar Creek, or wherever. That's a very, 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 I tell a lot of my people with disabilities, and it's worked like a charm, especially in the smaller markets. Austin is a little bit more difficult because you go to a meeting there. Do you have $1,000 to pay for our chamber to come here? Or, guess what you could do? You could come to my chamber event. See, I already go to those meetings. Join my chamber, come to our networking events. I'll tell you all this. Just sit down there. Right? I go to all chamber events. Right? I go to a forum for 2 things. I'm part of the Housing Authority. Right? And as a disability chamber of commerce. So I know all the employers. A lot of them you wouldn't even suspect. I was very enthused. I went to an event, and there was a lady there from Studio 6. They're part of the hotel rental places. You would never think they need developers and everything. talked to her, she hired 4 or 5 people with disabilities from a starting wage, what was it, 92,000, and that's a really small place. You would never know. See, you would never know. But you gotta find these people. She's a very unassuming lady. She's sitting in the back. I just sat down and talked to her, gave her a card. She hired 5 people within 8 days of talking to me. Right? But Chamber of Commerce, Economic Development Corporation, please research those before you leave or go to any other state. Right? Rotary clubs. Right? Lions clubs. A Rotary Club is very interesting because it has the top officials from the city that attend Rotary clubs. And if you know mayors are there, council members, senators, you would never know. And it's international. You go there, you start meeting them people, they tell you everything. A lot of people here are really high quality fields in this room. These are the people human resource people, these are people you really want to know, right? Because they know everything happening in your city really quickly. I go to a city, I talk to my chamber, my Economic Development Corporation, I'm a part of the Rotary. I go to those meetings. I've never not had a job in any place I've been. Never. Went to the country of Panama, used the same thing, got a job there within 8 days. And I speak no Spanish, just joking. All right? Got a job there in 8 days. If you guys hire recruiters, I want to tell you something about recruiters, right? I was a Navy recruiter. I want to tell you something about this, and I really want you to take this. If you hire a recruiter, it's very good to do so, but do not hire a recruiter that isn't consistently in the job market. See, I've been, you talk to recruiters. I've been a recruiter for 20 years. What last job did you apply for, and did you get an interview? I apply for jobs even though I have a job consistently, and I still go to interviews even though I don't want the job. Why? To keep my skills up. If they don't do that, and they were doing this 20 years ago, why would you hire them? That's the first question I tell all my people to ask them. Right? I apply to jobs all the time. Why? Because you really need to keep your skills honed for the different market segments. If I go to another city and I'm there for 4 weeks on training, I'll start applying for jobs in New York, even though I'm not going to live there, to get feedback from what the world in New York is. I went to an interview over there. That's totally different from here. I was like trying to run out of that place. I don't know what the heck was going on over there. You see what I'm saying? But I applied for a job out in Bastrop and something like that, and it's just me and that president, one-on-one or that HR manager. Right? I mean, panel interviews in New York, they're not playing. I mean, you got to have a phone call, then you got to do a Skype, then you got to sit down with this person, then you go in a room and there's 10 people in there. And that's just for a janitor position. So, you really got to know somebody who really knows their skills, but that particular, job coaches and all that are very good. You just got to know the right questions to ask them. And when you do find one, hold on to them as a mentor, because they're very good if you find the right one that has the top skills that are needed. Okay? Let me talk about empowerment. I see, anybody here below 25? Oh, you're good. Let me tell you something about yourself. My son just graduated from high school. Now I got him a job at a very interesting company, and it's like 5 minutes from my house, and I can't remember the name of it. Well, they take photos of microchips. It's the only one in the United States. And they start out at $20 an hour. My son's just turned 18 years old. The best job he's ever had in his life. But I told him very early on, son, when you're younger, always just go volunteer for free. He actually listened. Can you believe that? Just went for free. Sir, I want to go work for you. And he would ask people like yourself to just come in there and work for free. People were amazed that a kid with such a young age just would knock on their door. And I said, go straight to the person. Showed him how to use LinkedIn, found them. He would knock on people's, go to the office and say, I'd like to talk to the vice president or president. And they would say, yes, sir, may we help you? Yes, ma'am, I'd like to work for free for you guys. Never went without a job since she was 15. Never. Worked at top companies. And I tell youth to do that all the time. And my son came to me and said, Dad, I want to advance in this company. How do I advance? And I said, well, just beat your boss to the office. And greet him at the door. Boss would come in. I would drive my son there to work. Make sure he's there early. Here, boss, how you doing? Shake his hand and walk in after him. Dad, I want to do more. I want to advance more. I'm getting a little bit older now. How do I advance? Well, why don't you come in? You're already greeting your boss. I want you to go through the halls, and I want you to just whistle while you work. That's not going to work, Dad. Yeah, it is. Started out $14 an hour with the company. Within 6 months, he was up to 19. Right? Happy. He was empowered. Right? Did that with all of his employees. They all loved him to death. And now he's at a university and working a job and the heck out, right? I'm not doing this for nothing, right? I mean, you got to exit. You're making some money now. You got to get up out of here, right? Right? I mean, that's the whole thing. But so the funny part about that is that we want to really empower. How many people play the lottery in here? Okay, you play the lottery? Okay. All right, we're going to talk about something that's very interesting here. Everybody plays the lottery, but I'm going to take you guys back a little bit, and I want everybody to just follow me. We're all adults in this room. Today, you know what had to happen in the world just for us to be here all together. A lot of things had to happen to be here right now. Look around this room. A lot of, I mean, let's say the average age here is 40 years. Well, you had to make it all your 40 years to come here, or however old you are. You had to make it, right? First of all, your parents had to meet. What are the odds? Then they had to fall in love. What are those odds? Then guess what? They had to procreate. Then you had to be born. We all know you could just, wake up one morning, get sick, and pass away. Get ran over by a car. Anything can happen to you in all these years, but you're here today with me now. What are the odds? The question to you is, why do you play the lottery when guess what? You are the lottery. You've already won. The odds are astronomical. You're here. That's how special you are. All I need for you to do is steal it and push it out to that employer. And guess what, people? We're the ones that created the lottery. It came from us, the money. I tell my son every day, wake up, look yourself in the mirror, and say, I'm the lottery. I've already won. You've come this far. 8 trillion billion. What's the odds? Incredible when you look at all of that. Just incredible. Let's move on after that, right? I still got a little bit of time. So, okay, all right. Oh, okay, I got tons of time. Okay. So let's go a little bit further in this about more hidden jobs. How many people have heard the 80% rule? 80% of them jobs. And you know what? I thought that was true myself. 80%. I thought the 80% rule was actually true. It's semi-true. 80% of the jobs are not posted, and they're hard to find. The truth of the matter is, when I talk to companies, they need to fill those jobs. The problem is a lot of jobs they post are lower level jobs. Right? It's not the top executive fields, the top project management fields, because they're not getting their return on those particular positions. Those are very difficult to find, right? That particular person. So the 80% rule is correct, semi-correct, but the top positions are just not getting filled through there. That's why employer referral programs are very good. Calling your employer. A lot of people don't even do the old school thing. Man, it's so good right now. I just find my person and I write them a thank you note, an email address, and you know where I find them all? A lot of people look through LinkedIn. I just pay for a people search, data search system. Find anyone in the world. A lot of people haven't thought of that. I use a people data search system. That's it. Costs me about $20 a month. I find anyone in the world, phone number, address, where they live, everything. Very simple. Very, very simple. And when I do that, I write them a letter. Sometimes I'll go to their house, sometimes I'll go to their place of business, and I say, my name is Merchant Roland, and I would like to have a meeting with you. Sometimes I send them a little cup, and I say, I'm your next hire on that little cup. Send it to them. They get my thing, and they're very impressed, and that's old school. No one, listen, as we move to the technology age, you move back to the personal age. See, I'm the total opposite. You see what I'm saying? As technology gets there, now I'm going back to the real hands-on that worked back when our mom and dad or uncles were working, right? Because now they appreciate it. While they're getting bombarded on the internet, I see them because I know where they're going to go, and I meet them. So my name's Merchant Roland, da-da-da-da. I give them a little thing, maybe a little bag or something, and I say, I don't want to take a lot of your time, but here, and please call me, I'd like to work for you. And they take it, and they're like, no one's ever done that for me, or to me, because they're getting all the emails. You see? The personal touch. Go back to the personal. It's the same thing with my son. He went back to the personal touch and just basic meeting people at the door, your boss hired, you know? That's really personal and really simple. Just go back to that. And I know everybody in this room should know how to do that. You know, it's the teens we got to worry about, right? I know they don't even know what the history in the past was, but we do. Okay? Any other questions so far? Anything difficult affecting anybody that I haven't talked about that anybody would like to discuss? Okay, very good. I was in that boat. You, sir?
Well, I get contacted by a lot of recruiters. I get a lot of interviews, and I'm not at that point yet where I'm getting the offer or able to close the sale. It's a challenge. It's a gap maybe in their expectations of experience or skills or whatever it is. You know the reasons.
Right.
But just a long slog, and I have to go through each, interview with every recruiter and just trying to get to that point where I can close the deal.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I was on me.
But yeah, you can talk about it.
Yeah, it's you, man. Go ahead, man.
I was going to say that me and a lot of my friends got laid off
Right.
after the age of 50.
Right.
Whenever there was a layoff or something, the first people to go.
Right.
But even though we're in technical fields,
Right.
and some of my friends have had success by going back, assessing what skill gaps they had, and going back and filling that, whatever that skill was to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
But even some people doing that still did not find or have not found jobs yet.
Gotcha.
And it's been really
Okay, I'll handle you two together. No degree, all right? The no degree thing is, you could say, you could say it's a barrier if you're in a technical field. Which one is that? Software QA. So, let's discuss the no degree field. The no degree field could be a barrier, and it could not be a barrier. It could not be a barrier if if the person you're trying to assess or work for doesn't care. Why? Just like Dell. They hire a bunch of people from me, none of them have degrees. Maybe they could care less. We got to research companies that don't really have a really stipulation on degrees. Now, let's look at let's look at all three people here, and let's just look at some things right now. The big gig economy. How many people are working in that gig economy and giving services and creating relationships through the gig economy? Okay, 1, 2. Are you guys using Upwork and all that? Those channels? Okay, talk to me after. If you don't know what those are. Anybody know what Upwork is? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. There's Upwork is a freelance type of system in which you offer your services and people pay you, and you can do this from home, you can do it from anywhere in the world. Okay? How many people have heard of Clarity FM? One? Only one? Geez, okay. You got to get some education. Clarity FM is the top. It was started out by Mark Cuban. Okay? All the top professionals in the world are on this website, and they pay you for their time, for your expertise, to talk to you. Mark Cuban gets $400-something an hour. I'm on there. I'm free. Right? You can be on there for free, or they can charge, or you can charge your own way. Right? My best friend's on there. He made $150,000 last year, and he lives also in Panama. Right? Just from people getting his knowledge. Everyone needs to look at the gig economy now. Why is this important? At my company, the Housing Authority, we have a person, a person leaves our computer world. Guess what they do? They go to Upwork and all that, and they hire a person for gigs now. 6-month gigs. They pay you all that money. You just come in for 6 months, do what they need you to do, and you're gone. But no one's investigating that world right now. Right? That's a big world of companies that hire people on the gig because they don't want to have to pay long term if you have a great systems developer that leaves. Our person, she was pregnant and she had to go on maternal leave, and she was so integral to the company, they needed someone now. Well, they don't have time to post a job for 60 days, all that. They like, you need someone now. I said, well, let's go to the gig economy. I'm in charge of contracts and everything for the Housing Authority. So we went to the gig economy and we hired 3 people from there. Now that's all we do a lot of the time, right? But that's something that you really want to investigate, the framework of the gig economy in the U.S. And that could possibly help the 3 people here. As far as the interview process goes, it's the same thing. You research the person, you talk to them, you look them in the eye. But at the end of the day, here's the thing. Always ask them who their competitors are, and you don't even know if they've already got someone selected for that position. So don't take it personal. You just got to think, I did my best, and you just got to move on, because you don't even know. I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people, they have those jobs selected. I applied for a job at another housing authority on a trial basis just to see what happened. It's the same job I have here. Exactly. I didn't even make it past the interview process. It makes no sense. Why? I called back, find out they already had 3 people that already worked there. They didn't even have the skills I did, but they want them in that position. So never take anything personal, right? You don't know how that's already set up. All you can do is move on and do your best, and just leave it all on the table and at the door, and then move on. Always look for a job when you have a job. Right? I look for 5 jobs when I have a job. You never know what's going to pop, and you're not stressed, you're not worried about it. You're able to go in there very calm, cool, and collected, and you're able to just tell them exactly what you want, and if they don't want it, who cares? Move on. Employers call me all the time, Roland, we cannot fill jobs. There's just too much competition, and they're moving towards a lot of seniors and people with disabilities as untapped job markets. Okay? I've gotten several seniors hired in major companies that they never thought would even look at them anymore. But they're looking for them now. So if you think you're in a job field, oh, I'm a senior and this and that, that's not even an issue right now. They're looking for anybody and everybody in which to fill their position if you're qualified. If you're qualified and you have those skills, they're ready to move on. Go ahead.
When we talked about unique positions, I'm in a unique position. I'm a pharmacist. I'm a senior. I'm pigeonholed in my knowledge and training, and the job market is flooded.
Right.
How do I compete?
Okay, that's a very good question. Have you looked at? So, do you want to stay in Texas, or have you thought about it?
I moved here from Florida.
Oh.
Because of my husband's work. But,
Gotcha.
Anyway, I've managed to find a part-time position that's become even more part-time with time.
Right.
And so anyway, I'm not ready to retire.
Gotcha. Are you in any other clubs or anything? Do you-
Yeah, I belong to some of the professional organizations here in Austin, and on the state level, and the national level.
Gotcha.
Go to those meetings.
I'm gonna look for something for you because I think I can help you very quickly. Just
I'm
on.
about to volunteer at Southwest
Gotcha. I got something. So my first degree is in healthcare administration. When I started working at hospitals, that's something I just did not want to do. So I moved on to. Go ahead, ma'am.
Sorry. And I have a master's degree in healthcare administration.
Gotcha. So I have a degree in healthcare administration and public administration. My best friend said, Roland, I want to meet a lawyer and I want to marry a lawyer, a female, and I was like, I can't find, these types of women. And I said, well, then just go join the lawyer foundation for a specific charity. Did, found this lady, married her a year later. Okay? So my whole thing is, when I graduated, I went and joined all the healthcare administration big meetups and all the healthcare administration big society foundations, and I volunteered my time. I had probably within 6 months, I'd already made 300-something contacts from around the country and been offered 5 jobs. I just didn't like the field of work. But I found those specific top, well, I just, you Google those very top and you join their foundations. You join their corporate foundations. The other thing I really stress for people to do, look at those top organizations in Austin for healthcare, look at the company, and then find 1 or 2 people or just call, do you have an employee referral program? All right? But you have to do a little bit more investigating, right? But it only takes you about 4 days. In 4 days, you could have your people down and just say, you could look up. You have an employee referral program, right? And then you just go talk to the person there. You'd be amazed at the person who knows a lot at the front desk. He'll tell you everything. Sometimes I just take that person out to lunch. She knows, you find that lady that's been there 20, 30 years, she knows more than any HR manager, anybody in the company. I take her out to lunch. Who's this? Who's that? What time do they come in? When's he's in his office? What does he like to do? And they're very happy because no one's put them at that value level. People just come in there and step on them. And so now you're coming in and you're saying, you know what, you're very valuable to me. Let's go to lunch. And they're very, very enthusiastic to help you. And then when you get hired there, they're the ones on your team.
You're saying receptionist?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, receptionist. Or, a receptionist, guy or girl nowadays. Okay, that's
What other titles?
The titles?
Other than receptionist?
I look up the company and I use several people because here you go. You don't know exactly who the influencers are until you start researching. So that's the key word. Let me just change that. Influencers in that company. That's what I'm saying. So if you find an influencer in the healthcare field really quickly, then you just move on that influencer and you take them out to lunch, $20. You say, you know what, this is why I want to talk to you. Make it no secret. I really need some assistance. And here's my job skills to let you know that you are qualified. They're not promoting someone that's not. And then you move on that influencer, and they're very, very happy to help you, especially in this market. I have a little different take. When I start mentioning I help people with disabilities and I start crying, a lot of things happen for me again. So I have a little bit of different twist on it there, right? But it does help in a lot of more beneficial things, right? But a lot of people pass over that first person at that front desk, right? You don't even think anything, but then I found out in our company, that person knows everybody. And she knows the job's happening, she knows what they're planning, she knows stuff I don't know, and I'm a manager, right? She's telling me stuff. So you need to not gloss over those people. They're very good and interesting, okay? Anything else quickly? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What do you do about a non-linear career? I've got 30 years of experience, but but in half a dozen different fields, or at least half a dozen different roles within the same field.
Look at my thing. I have a very interesting career field too. I don't really know anything.
You know, I'm not like this technical dude. Like, I'm looking at some of these careers and I'm like, whoa, these people really like honed in, very linear. I mean, I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place, but guess what I can do? I can sell myself. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's all it comes down to. I get in there and I'm like, calm down. This guy's doing backflips and, you know. Listen, I'm going to tell you something HR managers tell me, and I say, girl, I have a great person here. You know what they tell me? Bring me someone with energy, and I'll train the rest. How many of you been in professional, top-quality hiring manager positions, and all you need is someone with energy, and you know you can train the rest? But guess what I see in the interviews when I hold them? Well, my name is blah, 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 and I'm like, what? Where's my spot? You know, where's my enthusiasm? I told my boss, we need this. Lo and behold, I do a lot of outreach and development, and that's what I hire for. I said, boss, we need this. You won't believe what came. The God just shot a light on this young kid. Right out of college, he came, and he just tore the interview up. Well, what are you going to do for this? Well, he got up out of his chair. This is what I'm going to do. It was totally wrong. But with all that energy, who cares? We hired him the next day. He's working with me right now, right next to my office. And he is just tearing it up. I got to, that's not the right procedures. But other than that, go for it. Okay? And that's basically what it comes down to nowadays. You show up like that. They don't know what to do. Okay? I think there was one other thing. Yes, ma'am.
So what would be your advice if you're going from one career field to another? So like I got a degree in hospitality management, bachelor's, and then I've got 2 master's degrees in like instructional design related areas.
Right.
So the last 10 years I was a trainer for a company, travel, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And now I'm trying to go into something related to specifically Salesforce administration, and I'm finding it difficult to because in the last role we used Salesforce, but I wasn't like a Salesforce administrator.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm finding it difficult to get to the interview part when they are looking at my resume to go, well, she's never been a Salesforce admin before, why would we hire her for that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what other approach to.
Certification?
I do, I have it.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about this one. I love this one right here. We talk about this. So what I do in that particular case, and what I train my people to do is I'm gonna tell you okay. So let's really get this. So you're a sales administrator, right? You want to put that up, you want to have something on that to cover that base to say you're this technical person. You can do 2 things. You can call any company up. You may want to partner with someone in the room, and you want to say, hey, I want to show you everything about, what's it called, Salesforce?
Salesforce administration.
I want to teach you and show you everything about Salesforce administration. You could even teach me about it. You can call me and say, I want to be on your team and teach you what Salesforce administration is. Now you become a professional consultant on Salesforce administration. I can give you a letter of support. Yeah. See how it works? Really quick. Boom. Done it for a bunch of people. I don't know anything about it. I want to know more about it. Maybe I can even use some services from you. Now you're teaching me. Now you're consulting with me. Now you become a professional. And now you got someone to write you a letter of support. And guess what? It's all for free because we're sharing of information. And you could do that with anybody in the room.
That's a good strategy for her.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so in my last job, I also worked with Salesforce intimately, but I was not an administrator. I was on the other side of the thing. But every year, the people that were administering it went to the Salesforce conference in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. So I was going to say, either if you know people that are going to it, or you could go to the website, the conference website, and see who is you know, going there as a speaker, who might be going there as a sales person, as an HR or recruiting role, and start contacting those people on LinkedIn, and I don't know, see maybe if you could volunteer and get in with a greatly discounted ticket, and go and attend some of that, one of their conferences, or maybe be a part of that. I know that that's an expensive venture in terms of going to San Francisco, but sometimes they have local meetups also.
Yeah, I do have local meetups now, like I go to meetings with Lauren, like 3 times a week, and I volunteer to train people. It's something that they put on as well, but it's just, I think people see my resume and they go, well, she's never had like Salesforce administration or administrator as a title.
Right.
Even though I've administered databases in the last role.
You change your title.
But you could also donate your time to a nonprofit, like what the stuff that Shannon does, do a project as a Salesforce administrator, and you've got experience.
Yeah, and that's basically what I'm saying. I mean, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, if anybody wants to come and volunteer and do some stuff at my nonprofit and offer your services to other of my companies, I have Fortune 500 companies joining my chamber, people. Guess what I could do if have some of you guys on the website as alternative services for small businesses.
Only if they're going to be paid.
Only, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to suggest to you, that might also be a good fit for what's called a T-chart as a cover to your resume, putting on there when they list their requirements, and one of them is Salesforce administration experience or whatever, however they worded it, putting that exact thing and then having your description right there and describing what your experience is and your certification and stuff. So rather than them scanning your resume for titles and seeing the first human that looks at it, if they look at that first page at all, they'll see that bullet point and they see you addressing exactly how you address it, rather than them getting to the point of not seeing it in job titles.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly what you said. Very good. You just want to make sure you pass that applicant tracking system. Okay, so I tell my people, listen, whatever the job calls for, I tell my people, put it in there. We can fit it all around in your resume. I need you to get into that interview, and once you do, I need you to blow their doors off. That's basically what it comes down to. You need to pass that whole ATS. I use JobScan too for my people. With Kathy and them use here. It's a great tool to use, and it really gets your resume up to a certain percentage level so you feel confident in it. And then I get in there and I teach my guys to blow their doors off on the interview process. Okay, that's really what I would recommend. Sort of find a way that you can mentally feel good about that resume and the words in it. To have system administrator, whatever that may be, partnering with other people, volunteering your time, whatever that does, put it in there, and then be prepared to sell yourself once you get into the door. I just need you to get past that resume and ATS system. That's the big deal. Okay, I think one more. Yes, sir.
So what about overqualification, when you're overqualified for the job? So, I mean, I've had the title of engineering manager, I'm an engineer, and I love being an engineer, right? But they'll tell you, well, we're looking for an engineer. Well, that's what I do, but I've missed several jobs because of my managerial experience.
Yeah, you don't put it on your resume?
I have one version with it and one version without, depending on the job.
And so what happens when you interview? Do you get in there and you say, I'm a man? I mean, how do they
I don't get the interviews. I don't get the interviews. Recently, somebody at a manufacturer told me, we're looking for engineers. In an email, we're looking for engineers. You've got 10 years manager experience.
When you're like, it's not like I wouldn't do engineering again.
I want to do engineering work.
I wouldn't even put the manager stuff anywhere in my resume.
Just take the word manager out.
I have.
Yeah, take it.
There may be another term you could use instead of manager, but you still have the
Leader,
like
coach, leader.
Team lead?
Yeah, I would take it out and I would never even mention it in the thing. Because remember, we don't know who you are unless you tell us who you are. We don't know anything about you unless you tell us anything about you. I would delete all of that. I would not tell anybody that I was that particular thing. and I would send emails and phone numbers to people just on the manager team, and I would I would go to the engineering consortium of Texas, the engineering leader group of Texas, and those guys refer other people. I mean, that hasn't been a hard fill for me to find people in, truthfully. I mean, to get people in those jobs. Because what... Well, you don't delete it. You change the, you just change a lot of the, you change the name history throughout everything. If there's one thing I want to say, guys, before I leave now, I have another engaged thing to go do. There's one thing I want to say, and this is very important. I cannot stress this enough. Your whole social media profile plan type of deal, right? And this is what I'm saying. This is really, I need everyone to pay attention to this. If I look, Andre, what's your field? Okay, operations management. If I look up Andre and operations management, I want to see everything that has to do with operations management. Not on a resume. I want to see a photo of him hugging the CEO of another operations management team. I want to see him at an operation meetings meetup with a photo. I want to see, so when I look at his profile, I can say, geez, that's really an operation guy. There's no doubt in my mind. I do that all the time for new hires at housing, and it doesn't correlate with a resume. Their social profiling does not correlate the two to make it easier on me as a hiring manager. Not at all. If you're in maintenance, I need to see you walking with a maintenance shirt on with a log on your shoulder or something. Everybody understand? I need your whole life to be based so I can see it. So when you come into that interview, I know exactly who you are and what your skill level is. I don't even care about anything else now. All I need you to do is just reinforce it. So I know I'm making a great decision. If my boss ever says, well, why did you hire this person? Well, shoot, look at their social media. They got a log on their shoulder. Obviously this is a person that's in the maintenance field and they've been doing it for 10 years. And I found one guy the other day, he had probably 4 years of history in his social media profile, Facebook, everything, photos, videos of him doing at meetups, talking to kids at school, talking about why we need an outreach, social media, and website design for youth and everything. Everything's there. As soon as he came in office, we basically just said, you got the job. It's all there. I don't even care what else is in that resume. Because it's social proof. There you go, the word. Social proof of everything you do. That is there you go. That says it all. I don't need nothing else. Your social proof of your whole life. So, what I recommend, create one for your stuff. Right? I got, like Kathy said, one LinkedIn says Murphy Roland, another says Roland Murphy. Right? Create one, have your whole social life on there. Like at this meeting, you see, on my profile, this will be there that I talked to you guys about this and everything like that. So if anybody ever wants to hire me and public speaking, it's all there. There ain't no, they're like, that's our guy. Okay? Right? Great. If you want to create two, create one with all your social stuff. Go to a meeting. Selfie, right? Go to another meeting, selfie, right? Go somewhere else, selfie, and upload it. So now you got all social stuff. You hugging people, mayors. I got people, mayors, council. They have who's this guy in the photo? They don't even know why I'm there. But, you know what I'm saying? I got in. You know what I'm saying? Throw on a little suit, right? Yeah. Oh, there you go too. Hey, do we have somebody with that skill?
Oh my God.
I'm ready to go.
You mean for the first time in my life I have to buy a selfie stick?
Yes. I got one right here. Instant. No, but everyone gets that point. I just want to make sure everyone understands the social proof prospect point, how so important that is, because a lot of people aren't doing it. I have my people with disabilities doing it, and I'm telling them they put their little link in there on the bottom of their thing, employer clicks on that thing, goes straight to their social media, and it shows everything about them really quickly at different meetings, different things they've done, and the social proof is just beautiful.